Breaking news! The Denver Broncos just shook the NFL world with a monumental announcement that could change the course of their season. I'll tell you all the details in a moment, but first I want to ask you a question. Do you believe the Broncos will beat the Raiders in their upcoming matchup? If you do, hit that like button hard, and if possible, write something like, "Go Broncos! I believe!" Now, I need to talk about something very important that happened in the last few hours. The league has officially moved the Broncos game against the Chargers to Thursday Night Football, marking the first time in history that the NFL has moved a matchup to that primetime slot. For Broncos fans, this isn't just a scheduling adjustment, this is a huge statement from the league itself. The NFL doesn't take a risk like this unless it believes the Broncos are serious playoff contenders. And let's be real, if the league thinks the Broncos are postseason material, shouldn't we? Think about it. You don't make such a bold move for a team sitting on the outside looking in with slim playoff odds. The Broncos' playoff chances are 20% if they lose either of their next two games. The NFL wouldn't bet its first Thursdays easing on a team that's going nowhere. They're betting Denver will be in the thick of the playoff race. This is a signal, not just to Broncos country, but to the entire NFL, that the Denver Broncos are back, and the league is buying into this turnaround. What's even better, the timing couldn't be more perfect for the Broncos. Moving this game sets the stage for a thrilling few weeks of football, and the benefits are clear. First, this move provides Denver with a crucial competitive advantage. After facing the Chargers on a short week, the Broncos will get a mini-bye, giving them 10 days to prepare for what could be the most important game of their season, a showdown with the Cincinnati Bengals. This scheduling tweak doesn't just benefit Denver, it flips the script entirely on the Bengals. Originally, Cincinnati was supposed to enjoy the luxury of 10 days rest heading into their matchup against the Broncos. Not anymore. Now it's Denver with the extra prep time, setting the stage for Sean Payton and his coaching staff to outmaneuver their opponents in a game with significant playoff implications. Let's break it down further. The Broncos bye week already gave them a chance to regroup and recharge. Now, this mini-bye following the Chargers game is like a second wind, allowing the team to gear up for the stretch run. On the flip side, the Chargers are the ones left scrambling. They've had no bye since week 5, leaving them to grind through an unforgiving schedule. Add a short week to the mix, and you've got a recipe for a fatigued opponent heading into a divisional showdown. And let's not underestimate how critical divisional games are. Beating the Chargers isn't just about bragging rights. It's about climbing the standings and improving Denver's path to the playoffs. This isn't just about logistics. This is about momentum and confidence. The NFL has given the Broncos a national stage to showcase their resurgence, and fans are about to witness something special. For months, Denver has been overshadowed, their efforts overlooked by national analysts. Now, all eyes will be on this team. No competing games, no distractions, just Broncos football in prime time. This is the recognition Broncos country has been waiting for. But here's the kicker. This wasn't just handed to Denver. Sean Payton, a proven mastermind, welcomed this challenge. The decision to flex the game wasn't forced on the Broncos. Payton, who has consistently shown his brilliance throughout his coaching career, saw the opportunity and seized it. His confidence in this team is palpable, and if there's one thing we've learned, it's that when Sean Payton makes a move, it's with a plan. He knows what this team can do with the time and preparation afforded by this schedule change. Let's talk about the Raiders, though, because the path to playoff contention starts with this Sunday. The injury report coming out of Las Vegas is almost laughable. The Raiders' secondary is depleted, with nearly all their cornerbacks sidelined. Their starting running back, a 32-year-old veteran trying to push through one of the NFL's toughest defensive fronts. This is a matchup primed for Denver to exploit, and you can bet that Payton and quarterback Bo Nix are ready to capitalize. Payton has made it clear, there's no looking past this game. He's drawn a line in the sand, promising that Denver won't make the same mistake the Steelers made last week when they overlooked a banged-up Browns team and suffered a shocking loss. Here's another twist. The release of Daniel Jones by the Giants sent shockwaves through the league and could have ripple effects on the Broncos' season. Jones was once a coveted name tied to Denver, with Peyton Manning himself reportedly high on the young quarterback. Now, Jones is on the market, and while the Broncos dodged a bullet by not acquiring him, his availability intensifies the quarterback sweepstakes for next year. Teams like the Giants and Jets are suddenly more desperate, potentially pushing the Raiders even further into tank mode. Let's not forget, the Raiders already have reasons to lose. They're more injured than when Denver first faced them, and their front office might be eyeing a higher draft pick instead of grinding out meaningless wins. All this sets the stage for an electric weekend. This isn't just another game, it's a defining moment in the Broncos season. If Denver beats the Raiders, their playoff chances skyrocket to 70%. The momentum heading into the Chargers game would be unstoppable. And for fans, this means another opportunity to see Bo Nix, who has grown tremendously this season, command the offense moments under the bright lights of prime time. The stakes couldn't be higher, and Broncos country is buzzing with anticipation. Stay tuned for what could be the best stretch of Broncos football we've seen in years. But what do you think? Is this the moment Denver turns the corner for good? Are you ready for another primetime showcase to prove to the world that the Broncos are back? Let me know your thoughts below, and stick around because there's so much more to break down as we look ahead to the final push of the season. Now let's talk about how this schedule shakeup could impact the Broncos' playoff aspirations on a deeper level. Starting with the immediate future, the flexed game against the Chargers isn't just a boost in visibility, it's a statement game for this team. Winning under the Thursday night lights solidifies the Broncos as a team to watch, not just for fans, but for analysts and rivals alike. It also puts significant pressure on other AFC teams in the playoff race. If Denver can capitalize on this opportunity, it sends a message. The Broncos are serious, and they're coming for that playoff spot. One of the biggest advantages here is the strategic timing around the Cincinnati Bengals matchup. After the Chargers game, the Broncos will have 10 full days to prepare for an unfamiliar opponent. That's a massive win. When you give a coaching mind like Sean Payton 10 days to analyze a team, develop a game plan, and fine-tune the details, you're setting yourself up for success. Let's not forget, the Bengals were supposed to be the team benefiting from this extra prep time. Now, they're stripped of that edge, leveling the playing field, or maybe even tipping it in Denver's favor. It's also worth noting how this impacts the psychology of the team. The Broncos have been clawing their way back into contention, and these small victories, like earning a flex primetime slot, can be incredibly motivating. Players see the league's confidence in them, and that belief translates into their performance on the field. It's a subtle but powerful reminder that this team has what it takes to compete with the best. Shifting focus to the Chargers game itself, there's a fascinating dynamic at play. The Chargers are a division rival, and these games are always hard-fought battles. But this season, Denver has an edge. The Chargers are limping into this matchup, having had no rest since their early Week 5 bye. Their roster is likely more fatigued and susceptible to injuries, and a short week only amplifies those issues. Meanwhile, the Broncos are coming off a bye and should be fresher and more prepared. Division games are pivotal for playoff scenarios, and this one is no different. A win against the Chargers not only boosts Denver's record, but strengthens their tiebreaker position within the division. Looking ahead, the Bengals game is shaping up to be the most consequential game of the season. Cincinnati is a formidable opponent, and their roster includes key players like T. Higgins, who, when healthy, is a game changer. But here's the twist. Reports suggest that the Bengals won't be retaining Higgins after this season. How does that impact the matchup? Does Higgins play with full intensity, knowing his future with the team is uncertain? It's a layer of intrigue that adds even more drama to this already critical game. So, here we are, Broncos country, on the verge of what could be the most exciting stretch of football we've seen in years. The stage is set, the lights are on, and this team has the opportunity to do something special. But I want to hear from you. Do you believe the Broncos can pull off this incredible turnaround and make the playoffs? Are you as hyped as I am to see them in prime time on Thursday night? And what do you think about the possibility of adding a star like T. Higgins to this roster next year? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get ready to cheer on our Broncos as they fight for their place in the postseason.